Hi guys, Miss Rivera back again with our second video for our read aloud of No Fixed Address, and I'm going to pick up right where we left off last time, which was on page 21 in the month of August. So let's see what Felix and his mom Astrid are up to. The Volkswagen West Lafayette is not a soccer mom van or a panel van or a minivan. It's in a class of its own. Ours, and I will continue to call it ours for now, is a Venego Synchro circa 1987 in gunmetal gray. It has a pop-up roof for extra sleep space and a built-in awning, which is brilliant for sitting outside in the summer. There's a 2-ring stove that runs on a propane tank, a sink with a pump that leads to a huge plastic container of water so you can cook and wash dishes, and a bar-sized fridge. It has a table that can be lowered for meals and games. The back seat pulls out, creating a big bed. Once the top is popped up, you can open another bed upstairs. It also has little cubby holes for storage tucked into every available nook and cranny. It was designed to use every square inch to its maximum potential. In short, the Westfalia is a masterpiece, and I'm pretty sure it's only meant to be lived in temporarily for vacations and such. And at first, that was what Astrid and I had in mind. We have to pack light, she said to me after our first 2 sleepless nights in Soleil's basement. We started to sift through our belongings, deciding what to bring and what to leave behind. It was a brain teaser because even though the Westfalia uses every square inch so well, there are not that many square inches to begin with. So Astrid and I came up with 2 very important questions. Is this something I use every day? If the answer was yes, it went into the van. Things like plates, bowls, cutlery, glasses, and mugs, 2 sets of each. 1 pot, 1 frying pan, plus a few more cooking utensils. Shampoo, deodorant, toothbrushes, toothpaste, first aid kit, flashlights, headlamps, 2 sets of sheets, pillows, sleeping bags, and towels, clothes, only enough for 1 week. Once we had our essentials packed, we asked the second question, is this something I feel I can't live without? For Astrid, those items were a small stack of books, a Trivial Pursuit game, and her drawing pencils, paints, easels, and sketchbooks. For me, it was Horatio, a few DK Eyewitness books, a dog-eared copy of Tales from Moomin Valley, and Mel. Astrid wrinkled her nose at my tomt. That's that little gnome guy. That's what he's talking about. Does that really need to come with us? My mom has never liked Mel. She says she finds his gazing disconcerting. Yes, I replied. If the Westfalia was going to be our temporary home, I figured we needed all the protection we could get. Next, we borrowed some cleaning supplies from Soleil and gave the van a good scrub. Abelard had left a few things behind, including a toolkit, a Patagonia rain jacket, a space heater, and a sandwich bag full of something I didn't know. Astrid kept the toolkit and the space heater and gave me the rain jacket. I don't know what happened to the bag, and that is the honest truth. After our second night in Soleil's basement, we loaded up the Westfalia. Soleil's twins came out to watch before their dad, Arpad, drove them to mechatronics camp. When we were done, we looked for Soleil in the garage, which had been converted into her studio. She was working on another rose painting, pink ones this time. Well, we're off on our road trip, Astrid said. What about the rest of your things? If it's all right with you, we'll just leave them here, just till the end of the month. Astrid put a hand on my head, and I knew that was my cue to give Soleil a winning smile. Soleil's eyebrows knit together. Okay, but just till then. Thanks for letting us stay, I said, since it seemed like my mom wasn't going to. Soleil put down her paintbrush and gave me a big hug. It was so nice to see you again, Felix. You take care of yourself. She didn't even look at Astrid. She just turned back to her painting without another word. Astrid was right. Living in the Westfalia for the month of August was a blast. Once I got over the initial disappointment that we wouldn't get to travel very much. Astrid figured that out the first time we had to fill up the tank with gas. It cost, as Astrid said, an arm and a leg. I'm sorry, Bonya. This is another one of her nicknames for me. It means bean in Swedish. But think of all the beautiful places we can visit in and around Vancouver. Gross Mountain, Stanley Park, Wreck Beach. Not Wreck Beach. Wreck Beach is famous for being clothing optional. Astrid used to take me there when I was little. It was fine when I was 5, but now that I was 12, you couldn't pay me enough to go there. Fine, prude. I'm just saying there are lots of great places, Astrid said. And there were. We stayed in Stanley Park. We treated ourselves to a drive up Highway 99 and paid for camping at Alice Lake. We stayed at Lighthouse Park. Nobody bothered us. It was really like having a long summer vacation right in our own city. We spent our days swimming, hiking, and reading. We were seldom far from the library. I read books like A Short History of Progress and A Little History of the World, and classics like Great Expectations. Astrid set up her easel outside and painted. The nights were warm, and we hooked up the mesh tarp to the back of the van to let air but not bugs in. I could look through the skylight from the upper bunk and see the stars. Even though the only degree Astrid ever got from the Ontario College of Art and Design, she is highly educated. Before she landed at OCAD, she was in university for 5 years and switched her major 3 times. As she puts it, she knows a little about a lot. She taught me how to find the zodiac signs in the sky. She told me stories from Roman, Greek, and Norse mythology. I learned about Odin and Thor and Venus and Neptune and Zeus and Apollo. There was no Abelard, no angry landlord, no school, no Marcia. It was wonderful. Dare I say it was even a little bit magical? Because it was so magical, we put off thinking about the future. Astrid sent her resume out to lots of companies to try and get another office job, and she contacted Emily Carr, but no one was hiring. She didn't seem worried. We had savings, enough to tide us over for a while. We looked at a few apartments, but most landlords wanted current pay stubs. One landlord leered at Astrid and told her he didn't need any pay stubs or reference, but the basement apartment was as creepy as he was. I prefer the van, she said. Me too, I agreed. But as Astrid crept to a close and the days grew shorter, we knew we had some decisions to make. Felix, she said one evening as we set up our Trivial Pursuit board game outside, we may need to stick it out in the van just for another month until I get a job. It's okay, and really at that time, it was. You know what's great about this? What? You can register at any public school you want for 7th grade. This was good news. My last 2 schools hadn't been terrible, but they hadn't been great either. I'd felt a constant low-grade loneliness. How about Blenheim? They have a late French immersion program that starts in 7th grade. I've always wanted to learn French. I didn't add that it was partly because of my dad. Plus, it's in Kiltsano. My fondest school memories were from our time in Kits. Astrid's eyes lit up. That would be perfect for you. Astrid knew French. It was yet another subject she had studied in the university, so she was saying some things in French to me, but I didn't understand what she was saying. But then I remembered something my old friend Dylan had told me. Blenheim is the only late French immersion program on the west side, I said. So it's mostly an English-speaking school. They only have 2 classrooms for the French stream, which means space for about 60 kids, and it's first come, first served. Dylan's sister got in, but she applied months in advance. Astrid thought for a moment. Don't despair. We'll go there tomorrow. And Felix, she looked me in the eye, let me do all the talking. So that's going to be it for today. That was only about 10 pages. So make sure you go into the Google Classroom stream and do the Google form that is for these pages. See you later.